Cut the wrong species, and reality starts simplifying. I reduced 412,000 species to 7 ways of bleeding. Not 7 colors, not 7 compositions. 7 purposes. I established the categories. Yours is number 5, mine is number 1. You're not going to like what that means. 7. The Veth-Quran of the outer chyle system do not bleed. They correct. Their circulatory fluid, corrective plasma, does not carry oxygen. It carries instruction. Released into open air, it does not spread. Metal becomes simpler. Stone becomes simpler. Atmosphere becomes simpler. The Veth-Quran did not develop this for defense. Defense implies something they have never encountered: fear. Their biology does not acknowledge barriers. On their home world, there are no walls. There are no doors. Not because they never built them, they did once. The structures simply became simpler over time. Then the material became simpler. Then the concept did. You don't stop the bleeding stops you. Their medical procedures are not performed, they are witnessed from a significant distance. I once observed a Veth-Quran experience, a minor cut near a space station. The investigation is technically still ongoing. 6. The Oraval of the Seraph expanse resolved oxygen dependency 12,000 years before your planet formed. Their blood, auric conductor, is gold-based. Not metaphorically, structurally, microscopic gold filaments carrying neural signal instead of oxygen. Their circulatory system is their nervous system. No lag between thought and action. No hesitation of any kind. They do not react. They simply already have. Their medical system operates on the same principle. The Oraval have no word for diagnosis. They have a word for what has not yet gone wrong, and they monitor it with extraordinary attention. I once attempted a conversation with one. They had already left. Every civilization that attempted to extract an Oraval blood sample failed. The fluid moved before the instrument arrived. You carry traces of gold in your own blood, approximately 0.2 milligrams. You are, technically, worth slightly more than you think. I will leave it at that. 5. You have a word for me. Alien. From where I observe, the classification is mutual. We are, as you say, even. Your blood uses iron. Others adapted copper. The Oraval chose gold. You're not behind. You're mid-selection. You carry iron in 4 incompatible variants, A, B, 0. And beneath that, a second system, positive, negative, incompatible under the wrong conditions. Every other species in this catalog reached internal consensus. One circulatory identity, universal within its kind. 4 types within one species. I have documented civilizations that took less time to develop faster than light travel. You are not one species. You are an agreement in progress. An Rh negative mother can classify her own Rh positive child as a foreign threat. Her immune system responds accordingly. At the cellular level, you have not yet agreed what your offspring should look like. From where I observe, you are a species mid-convergence, several evolutionary paths that never fully merged. You are not yet biologically one thing. You are becoming it. One additional note on Rh negative blood. It carries no traceable origin in any primate lineage I have reviewed. I reviewed the record 3 times, then a 4th, to be certain. The 4th review was different. Then I stopped reviewing and made tea. That felt appropriate. I will not speculate further, not in this log. 4. The Dreneth do not carry oxygen through their blood. They carry memory. Their fluid, memory lattice, is a crystalline suspension that archives lived experience at the cellular level. Every heartbeat is a record. When a Dreneth dies, their blood does not dry. It solidifies into a structure that other Dreneths sit beside for years, reading. The Dreneth do not have libraries, they have graveyards. This distinction, to them, does not exist. The oldest Dreneth memory structures have been read so many times the crystal wears smooth in places. What is lost when a memory becomes illegible? I have not asked. I suspect they have. There is a Dreneth practice I have observed only once. When a structure becomes fully unreadable, they do not discard it. They carry it. For the rest of their lives, they have a word for this. It translates approximately as the weight of what was. I find this relatable. I keep this to myself. 3. The Iorath do not think alone. Their blood, signal plasma, carries collective resonance. What one feels, 12 billion receive, faintly, like a whisper, from the other side of a planet. When I first observed them, I assumed they were a single organism. I was incorrect. They are 12 billion individuals who have never had a private thought in recorded history. Privacy never developed on their world. Understandably, their word for loneliness translates as the light that forgets its rhythm. It is a medical condition on their world. Treatable. They find it deeply alarming. They have not developed literature because the concept of a single perspective worth recording never occurred to them. I once made eye contact with one Iorath. 12 billion turned to look. I left shortly after. 2. The Maravan have no color. Not their skin, not their blood. Their circulatory fluid, absorption. Fluid absorbs all incoming radiation, all wavelengths, all light. Nothing returns. Instruments do not detect them. You don't see their blood. You notice its absence. Standing near a Maravan is not darkness. It is the moment before your eyes adjust, held permanently. The Maravan call themselves, and I translate carefully, the ones who keep. Other civilizations identified them only by gravitational signature. They named them the dark species. Whether they keep light, memory, or something without a name, in any language I have encountered, I cannot say. I have attempted communication with the Maravan on 3 occasions. The first 2 produced no response I could confirm. On the third, something in the room shifted slightly. A change in pressure, a barely measurable drop in ambient light. I recorded it as inconclusive. I have documented them for longer than most civilizations have existed. I use the word documented loosely. I am not certain they have noticed me. 1. You built a system for blood types. A through O, positive, negative, very tidy. I appreciate the effort. You tried to place me in it. That was a reasonable attempt. I have given my own blood no formal name. Naming a thing requires deciding what it is. This fluid has refused categorization for longer than most civilizations have existed. It does not carry oxygen. I resolved that dependency some time ago. It does not correct, archive, signal, or absorb. It does all of these things simultaneously, and several others for which your language does not yet have words. I began composing the explanation once. It required 2 concepts that do not exist in any human framework, and a sentence that takes 11 of your minutes to complete. My blood is white, not the absence of color, the presence of all outcomes. You are the only species in this catalog that names its blood types without asking what blood is for. I find that, quietly, one of the most interesting things about you. When I arrived on this planet, the first human who saw me bleed asked what color it was. I said white. That was the simplest answer. It also stains terribly. I lost an excellent garment to a minor incident near the Crab Nebula. I have not forgiven myself. You began this with a question about color. That was never the right question. The right question is, what did blood become? When survival was no longer the only requirement. Each step removed a limitation. You are still negotiating yours. 7 is not arbitrary. Across every civilization, every dimension, every classification system I have reviewed, 7 recurs. The number of tones in a complete scale, the number of directions in a full spatial system, the number of times a civilization must collapse before it learns not to. I did not choose 7. 7 chose itself. So perhaps, did I?